How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer, coming at you with another video. Hope you guys all dig the mullet. Oh. So, not a whole lot to talk about. I haven't had a lot of time lately to game, unfortunately. I just have not. Been really busy. A lot of you guys out there that are younger, that are in your late teens, early 20s, once you get to be my age, once you get to be on the wrong side of 30, your early 40s, I'm telling you, man, fucking weeks turn into days. A week goes by like nothing. It's crazy. Your time, you quickly realize as you get older that one thing money can't buy is time. You can't buy back time. You're only on planet Earth for so many years. You could be dead tomorrow. So, yeah, unfortunately, I haven't had time to game. And I don't want to talk about it too much here. We've talked about it before on the channel. Sorry, beer of the day. Labatt Blue. It's for you, Marceau. Yeah, what were we talking about? Priorities? No time? I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, it's difficult. You know, you can't buy back time. There's only so much time. For any of you guys out there that are younger, that are working 2 or 3 jobs at once, or you're working 7 days a week, have at it. I used to be like that when I was young. But man, you get to realize later in life how important it is to have a couple of days off a week, because if you're running the gauntlet, if you're burning the midnight oil and you're working 6-7 days a week, yeah, good money, but I mean, what good is it if you don't have time to spend it, right? Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. So just without having a lot of time right now to game, it's just unfortunate because there's like a whole slew of really good games coming out. There's the DLC that's finally being released for Cyberpunk 2077. What is that called? Liberty City? Something like that. Phantom Liberty. I don't know if you have to play as the female V. If you do, then I'm out. I'm not going to play it. But again, I have this behemoth of a game which I can't even get 20 hours in. So I'm in no place to try to jump into downloadable content for Cyberpunk. Or even, unfortunately, as sad as it is, you know, I'm looking forward to Alan Wake 2. It's one of my most hotly anticipated games in years. But I can't even think about jumping into that until I finish this. Unfortunately, you got to finish the main quest at least. So that's the goal for the next couple of months, is try to dig real deep and try to get through the main campaign in this, and then I'll jump over to Alan Wake 2, and I'll check out Phantom Liberty depending on whether or not you can play as the male V. So that's it. I got my hands full, and then once I beat Alan Wake 2, then I'll probably come back to this and dig into it a little bit more. And at the same time, I'm trying to play a little bit of my retro games as well. So there's definitely a lot on the go. But yeah, it's the nice time of the year as far as weather is concerned. I really like this time of the year, changing of the seasons, a little bit cooler out. And of course, everybody enjoys Halloween. And I think, yeah, Thanksgiving, that's coming up. For the US and Canada. So I was going to say something political that had to do with India and Canada, but no, we won't talk about that here on this channel. I don't want to get banned from YouTube. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I had stuff to talk about. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Oh, wow. Yeah. So quickly, what are your guys' thoughts on your gaming collection as it potentially being a nest egg of sorts? Do you think it's something you can rely on as a means for early retirement? So the reason why I say that, you want my honest opinion on it? I'm going to say no. Games do continue to go up in price to to a point, to an extent, but they're always going to be somewhat obtainable, at least with the modern consoles. And the thing is if you look back at the NES and the Super NES, the Genesis, most of the games on those consoles are still relatively cheap. And what I mean by relatively cheap, I mean $30, $40. Maybe not super cheap, but it's attainable, right? So here we are, like over 25, 30 years removed from those consoles, and most of the games are under $100, right? And a lot of the games are cheap. A lot of the games are $20, $15, $10, depending on the game. It's the heavy hitters for those consoles that are super expensive, right? But even still, the heavy hitters, what are they? $100, $150, depending on the game. So the reason why I say that is because, like, I'm 40 right now. And let's just say 20 years from now, I'm 60 and I decide to sell my games. Like, realistically, what am I going to get for my game collection? Let's be honest here. What am I going to get? $10,000? Maybe? That's not enough to retire. That's not a lot of money. So is it really worth it to sell my collection even, 25 years from now? So I wanted to sort of bring that up, and not everyone's situation is the same, obviously. We're not all John Benjamin Hancock there, sitting on $1 million worth of games that were donated to him, graciously, humbly donated to him. But, like, realistically, like, I'm looking at my original Xbox collection. If I sold it today, I'd be lucky if I got $1,000 for it. The 360, same thing. Most of the games are pretty cheap. So I don't think you can really rely on the old video game collection as a means for early retirement. The sad thing is there's a lot of people out there that live paycheck to paycheck, and they don't think about retirement, and they don't think about chipping in on maybe a employee ownership program at work, or a pension plan, or RSPs, or just saving your money, so that, unfortunately, a lot of these people out there that have amassed a lot of debt, buying all these toys, brand new vehicles, $1 million houses that they'll never pay off. When they retire, they have no money. Well, that's why I'm saying, if you're smart, you're not going to try to rely on these tangible assets that you have as a return investment. It could help you out a little bit, but I wouldn't rely on it. You're going to have to find another way to ease into retirement, folks. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a big problem out there in the automotive industry, whereas prospective, I guess, scalpers, they'll go out and they'll buy a car that's like a real hot commodity, like a brand new Ferrari or a brand new Lamborghini, or one of those cars that's like a limited production of a certain variant. And they'll buy it just so that they can flip it and make $100,000. It's crazy. It happens out there. A lot of the manufacturers are definitely cracking down on that. Ferrari is one of them. You can't buy a Ferrari unless you go through like this whole song and dance approval. So it's kind of like an approval, I guess you would say, where you submit a proposal as to why you think you're the one that should be able to buy a Ferrari, and then the company Ferrari reviews your portfolio and your proposal, and they make the decision whether or not to sell it to you. And if they think you're going to be a reseller, they're not going to sell it to you. It's just like the Ford, the GT that they had. What was it? The Ford GT? Who was it? John Cena? He bought one and he tried to flip it, but in the contract, the Ford contract, it said you had to hold on to the vehicle for at least like a year or two, or maybe something like that, before you could sell it. So he wasn't able to sell his vehicle. I think that's how it went. So yeah, a lot of the I'm just using that as an example because a lot of people are trying to find various ways to, get rich quick schemes, if you will. And it's just I don't know. It's crazy. So yeah, I went off on a bit of a tangent there. What else is there to say? So no, I don't think the old video game collection is anyone out there that's entertaining the idea that it's just going to be an appreciating asset that's going to fund your early retirement, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. So unless you've got a legitimate collection of retro games, maybe, you know, like the older consoles, but the modern ones, yeah, you might get a couple $1,000. Whoop-de-doo. That's not going to last very long. So I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about here, kind of like a rant about hidden gems, but also because it's Halloween as well. So there's one game that I don't talk about much, but I do own it. And this game came out, I want to say like the exact same time the original Xbox came out. This game, I've talked about it before, but it's been a long time. It only came out on the original Xbox, and it came out on PC as well. These days, if you want to play it, you more or less have to hunt down a copy on the original Xbox. It's extremely hard to find. You'll never see it in the wild. I never see it in the wild. It's a movie tie-in, but it's better than the movie, and it's a first-person shooter as well. And that is Land of the Dead, Road to Fiddler's Green. Yep. So, you know, anyone who was around back then, around 2004, 2005, maybe a little bit earlier than that, John A. Romero of the Dead film series released Land of the Dead, which starred John, how do you pronounce his last name? Leguizamo? And I never actually saw the movie. I didn't bother to watch it. I probably should go back and watch it. Didn't really get great reviews, I don't think. But the game got terrible reviews. It got terrible reviews. However, if you actually go back and play it, it's really good. It's really good. I'm not really going to spend 20 minutes talking about it here. But yeah, it's a first-person shooter. Loosely ties into the movie, but it is very much its own thing. It's one of those games that it came off kind of like a budget release, but it's so bad it's good. And the thing is too is this game has shot up in price. It is one of the more sought after games on the original Xbox. But again, the reason why it's so cool is nobody talks about it. Nobody even knows about it. So yeah, Land of the Dead, Road to Fiddler's Green. Let me know if you guys do want to see some gameplay footage. I can certainly put that up. I could have swore that this game would have had the only on Xbox little emblem on the top, but it doesn't. But yeah, this is like an original game. An original, one of the first games to come out on the original Xbox. I don't know if it was ever packed in with the console. I'm not quite sure. You could go back in the day if you went to the movie theaters to see this movie. It's my understanding before the movie started, there was an advertisement for this game for the Xbox. So that's cool as well. So my copy is not complete in box. It's disc only, but the disc doesn't have any scratches. I did buy this on eBay a couple of years ago, and I must have paid $30 or $40 for it. Now, if you go and pick up a copy, I haven't looked, but I have to imagine if I had to guess, this is probably going to cost you $50-$60. But yeah, Land of the Dead, Road to Fiddler's Green. I never beat it. I would like to go back and play it. Like I said, it is cool because it's only on the original Xbox. I don't consider the PC release you'll never see it. You'll never see it. I've never seen the PC version out at the thrift store as an example. So yeah, check it out. Real good game. So that's my scary Halloween game for the month of October. As we get closer to October, Land of the Dead, Road to Fiddler's Green. I cannot recommend it enough. Yeah. So that's it. I'm going to cut it off there right around the 15-minute mark. There's really not much else to talk about. I just wanted to sort of touch base. I've got a little bit of time tonight, so I'm going to try to get back into this. This is going to be like a reoccurring theme for me, telling you guys that at the end of every video for the next couple of months. So So hope you guys have a good rest of your Friday night, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll be back with something else shortly. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.